So welcome back to another episode, and can you believe it? I just found this out yesterday, that the Wii, the original Wii, is 10 years old. It came out yesterday, 10 years ago, and I can't believe it. I always go on about how much time has gone by, but that feels around like 6 years, not 10. It's kind of nuts, and I thought today what I'd do is talk about the Wii launch and the system a little bit, and some of the games that I really enjoyed on there. And guys, down below, tell me, were you there at the Wii launch? Were you lined up late at night to pick this up, or did you pick it up over the Christmas season? Were you impressed with it? Were you happy with your purchase of the Wii? I almost want to say the Wii U, but this was the original. And the funny thing, there was so much hype, there was so much talk about this machine, and I remember every day at work, me and my friends would be talking about it, talking about the crazy controller, and how you can just, whap in the air, and you do sword motions, and, that would have an effect on the screen, and this was a crazy concept, and it was an exciting concept, because we were coming off the GameCube, a system that I really loved, but wasn't a huge hit for Nintendo, and this was a bit of a gamble with the Wii, and everybody was going, oh my god, it's gonna fail, it's gonna be terrible, blah, blah, blah. Oh, listen to the name Wii. Oh, I remember all those jokes back then, the Wii jokes. And I thought it was an unusual name. When I first heard it, I was like, Wii. Even when you say it that way, it's like, it is a bit of an unusual name. But, it wasn't really about that for me. It was more about what games are you going to be offering? What's the experience going to be like? Is it going to be fun? Am I going to have fun with this thing? So this is interesting because it is 10 years ago. And back then you couldn't pre-order online the same way that you can now, where having the system delivered to you the morning of launch, like would be preferred. I went to bed at 11 o'clock at night, and I got up at 3 in the morning. This is true. And I got in my car, and at that time I was still smoking. It was just before I quit smoking. And I drove down to Best Buy. And here's what I thought. I thought, I'm going to get down there, and I'm going to line up and be the first. When you have to line up for machines, it's so crazy. And I'm like, I'm going to get in the lineup because I want to get a machine. And I'm like, there'll be nobody around. And this is such a shock to me because I think at this time, video games still felt very, very underground to me, even though they're a multi-million-dollar huge business. I don't know why I didn't think that that a launch would be so big that I go to Best Buy, at 3 in the morning and there'd be anybody there. There'd be a few people there, no problem. I remember pulling up at 3 in the morning in my car and looking and seeing a lineup of nearly 72 people in the line, and I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy, what the fuck? I was so mad at myself because all I was saying was I should have got there earlier. I should have been here earlier. And I was really frustrated. And I was like, no. I got to get this. I got to get Twilight Princess. I got to get all the games. I got to experience this machine. No way am I going to have this taken from me. So I get in the lineup and I'm standing there forever. A couple of cigarettes later. And then a person in Best Buy came out. I forget what time it was. Maybe 4, 5 in the morning. I can't remember. They're like, and they started handing out tickets to everybody. And they're like, oh yeah, we got about 50 or 60 machines, so yeah, everybody should get one. And of course, I see them handing them out, and I'm like, they're not going to get to me. They're out of machines already. There were so many more people in front of me. So I did something so unusual. I got in my car, and I drove 5 minutes away. 5 minutes away to an EB Games that was right there as well. And I ran to the EB Games, and there was 3 people ahead of me, it was 3 or 4 people ahead of me in line. I was like, oh, there's nobody here. And this three people were all together, a bunch of guys. And I'm like, hey, and they're like, hey, and it was like, oh, so we're here, yeah. Okay, this is awkward. We have to stand here for the next 5-6 hours or whatever. So I stood there and I waited for the launch, for them to open. I think it was 9 or 10 in the morning. And then somebody showed up at 9 in the morning from EB, and Rob showed up, my friend Rob showed up, and he's standing with me in the lineup. And I think we described this in our Twilight Princess video that we did together, is that Rob didn't have it pre-ordered at EB, but he knew the guy, the manager at EB. So the manager shows up and he's like, oh, hey Rob, sees Rob in the lineup with me, because Rob showed up after me, hours after me. And he's like, and Rob's like, oh yeah, so you got my pre-order, right? And the guy's like, oh yeah, I got you. You just come on in when we do the pre-order lineup. And I was so mad. I can talk about it now. I was so angry that I showed up before anybody. I got there. Rob didn't have a pre-order. He just happened to know the manager. And that's why, that's kind of shit pisses me the fuck off. So, I forget what time it was, like 9 o'clock or whatever. Rob gets in, you know, oh, pre-order lineup is here. Everybody else is out here. So I was out, you know, in the cold. And it was cold. It was 10 years ago, like nearly today. Which was yesterday, which is ridiculous. And so Rob gets shuttled in like fucking royalty. And he didn't even have a pre-order. And he walks out, yay, okay, see you later, I'm off. And he went. And I had to wait another hour, and they finally let me in. And it was a gong show. I remember I ran in. They're like, oh, by the way, guys, we don't have that many copies of Twilight Princess. And I remember jumping up, trying to get the copy of Twilight Princess that was at the top of the shelf, and I grabbed it, and I was like, yes, I got it. It was kind of an awkward scene, but fuck it. I'm not leaving without that. That's not happening. And what the crazy thing is, I came home, I left that stupid fucking gong show. I was so tired. I came home, and I brought everything back, and I got, you know, a bunch of launch games, and I put everything down, and then I had to go to work for 8 hours. That's when I was doing the afternoon shift, and I went and just did this afternoon shift. And then I came home late at night and I got to experience the Wii. I finally got to try it out. What was it like? What was my first impressions of it? And I don't want to sound all negative here, because this is the Happy Cons Gamer Show. I always try to find the positive in things, but component video cables, I had ordered them because you couldn't get them at launch. You couldn't buy them in the store. You had to order them online from Nintendo. And it took weeks to get here. So I had only composite. I had to hook it up to a high definition TV with composite. It was terrible looking. I was so not happy with the Wii graphics at the time because, you know, we're entering the world of high definition, and it was like, oh, I wouldn't have minded if I had the component cables. The component cables were also a sting at that time and really, really pissed me off. So I had to wait weeks for the component. I finally put the components in. It made things look a little better, but I put in Twilight Princess. I was kind of happy. I was like, okay, it's a little muddy looking on this TV the way it's looking right now, but it's the way it is. It's the way it is. And I enjoyed Zelda. I really did. And now I pulled out the Wiimote and the nunchuck, and this is the nunchuck, and this was a whole different thing in the sensor bar, and I had to put the sensor bar on the TV. And the one thing I will say is it worked well. You know, I played, you know, the Wii Sports. Everybody played fucking Wii Sports. I was bowling with this thing, and it had motion control, so you're doing all these crazy attacks in Twilight Princess, and it worked. And it was kind of neat that before that, you know, you'd always have a controller. It would always be together. They'd broken that apart. It was a different way to control things, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. I got a little tired after a while. I was like, I just want to sit down and do this, but I liked the Wii. I really liked the Wii. I thought it was a good system. I don't know. It's just kind of it was a weird launch, you know, with no component cables, and it left kind of a bad taste in my mouth. But thankfully, the games made up for that, and they really, really did. And Twilight Princess is a fantastic game, and a game series I've never had a chance to talk about. Trauma Center. And it's actually weird. It got Zelda Twilight Princess there. Obviously, the old EB sticker on here. Thank you, EB, for that. The ones you can't peel the fuck off. But Trauma Center was a phenomenal game, and it worked okay with these controllers. I liked it quite a bit. And doing operations on people and stuff like that. I miss these games. I'd like to see a return to Trauma Center games. This is by Atlas, and really great stuff. And obviously, I got, you know, the other Trauma Center games. It all started on the DS for me, and I just love this series. I liked the Wii, but you know what did it for me? Well, the game that just sold me on the whole system and the controller and all that, it came out a little bit later, was Mario Galaxy. Jesus Christ, this was such a phenomenally awesome game. I got it during the Christmas season and just played the living shit out of it. It was so cool to run around planets. When I think about it now, there's a little bit of Dragon Ball Z going on and some of that. But I loved it. I love the music of this game. Fantastic. And I got Mario Galaxy 2, and I'd like to see another Mario Galaxy game one day. 100%. Another great game, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. this is a classic game on the system. It really, really is. Like, how can you go wrong with this game? You really can't. And, you know, another bunch of games I really enjoyed that not a lot of people talk about, and I don't think it ever got the acknowledgement that it deserved, was No More Heroes. I was a huge fan of this game. I like the aesthetics of the Japanese character designs and the blood, the over-the-top gore, and yeah, it had some weird sexual, strange themes and toilet humor. It's an unusual game, but a lot of fun. And let me say, and I hate using this term, a hidden gem on the system, House of the Dead Overkill. This is a shooter game on the system, and really a lot of fun. Really a lot of fun. And another game, Mad World. This is a great black and white game by Platinum. I love that game. It was so cool. And let me just say something else. The one thing I did enjoy about the Wii, the Virtual Console, was second to none. Second to none. This was the best way to get all your old school games in one thing. And you could use the Nintendo Classic controller here. And let me say, I thought this controller was so fucking cool. I thought it was so compact, and I liked it. I don't care what anyone says. I think this is a cool controller. And the Virtual Console, I could talk about just alone on this machine. There was every single game that I ever wanted. There was Neo Geo games on this thing. There was freaking TurboGrafx games. You could play Easybooks 1 and 2 on this. And this was a great way for a lot of people to experience a lot of games that I grew up with that could never afford these expensive games now. And they could get them on the Virtual Console. And the Wii U's Virtual Console is good, but it ain't the Wii's Virtual Console. This was where it was at. And what a crazy machine. What a crazy launch. And it was really a lot of fun. A lot of shovelware on the machine. We got to say that, first of all. But this machine was a massive success for Nintendo. I mean, you'd never seen anything like it. Grandparents were buying this game for themselves. They really knew how to market this machine, and it was marketed to all the right people, which was everybody. Everybody wanted this machine. It felt very appealing to be able to pick up a controller and have some motion controls, and people were all like, oh, I want to play, like golf, or I want to play tennis or bowling. It was fun, and everybody felt like they were really, in the experience, and I liked it for that. I think it's a very innovative machine. I think it has an incredible place in history in video games. It really, really does. And yeah, like, what did you guys think of the Wii, the original Wii? I remember that launch. I'll never forget it. Thinking that, oh my God, this won't have a big launch. There's not going to be a lot of people there. And there was a ton load of people, and the hype and expectations were so high. And do I think it lived up to it? Yes, I do. Do I like the Wii? I do. I think, the only thing I always wished, I think at the time, was it was high def. It was high definition. I think this would have had a bit more impact back then. I think a lot of the games, there's a lot of games on this machine that are phenomenal that I haven't even brought up or mentioned or anything like that, that if they were in high def, people would have been like, oh my God, they would have been true classics for all time, and there are some seriously great games in the Wii lineup, and you have to sort through a lot of shovelware to get to them, but there's a lot of really, really great games on this machine. I just highlighted some of them here. Tell me, guys, what are some of your favorite games on the Wii? I didn't mention. There's a lot. Sin and Punishment. Like, the list goes on and on. But I can't believe it's been 10 motherfucking years since this machine, launched, and I had to wipe off the dust. I had to pull it off the top shelf up here and bring it out and show you. Here's the original box from 10 years ago, and my God, we'll probably be talking about this machine in 20 years, and I think it'll still hold up, and people will be thinking, that was such an innovative machine with the motion controls. They were so cool. So anyways, guys, until next time.